Hi everybody, a really warm welcome to my channel, Nelly the Narcissist. Thank you to everybody here that's joining today, and thank you to everybody subscribed that is supporting me in all the ways that you do. For anybody that's new that wants to find out a little bit more about why I started the channel and why I do what I do, I've got a playlist on here that will tell you all about it. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 3 incredibly important lessons that I learned from a narcissistically abusive relationship, and I'm going to be sharing how the dreadful and destructive experience transformed me and my life for the greater. So in sharing these 3 important lessons that I learned, I hope that it will resonate and be helpful to many of you too. And I believe that it will, because these lessons are universal, and I'm sure that they're going to be key themes for those that find themselves in one or even more narcissistic relationship. And just before I begin, if you would like to help me get this message seen by more people that might need it, then please do like the video, share it, and let me know your thoughts by leaving me a comment below. And if you're not subscribed, then please do consider subscribing. To begin with, what I'd like to start from is the point that I was at when I left the narcissist, and I want to set the scene, and then I'm going to discuss the 3 things that I learned. Now, for a long time after my ordeal with a narcissist, I had 0 attraction, 0 interest for anybody. I felt basically dead from the neck down. And this, I believe, was not only a byproduct of being abused, but it was a protection for myself. It's really natural after abuse to not have attraction for anyone for a long time. There's actually nothing wrong with that. Actually, there's everything right with that. When you've had such a deep level emotional, psychological, and soul level violation, it's such a betrayal. It's incredibly hard to trust again. And I don't want to say that it's impossible, because it's not, but it does take time, and it takes a special kind of person to be there for you and understand all of what you went through. And as we learned from the narcissist, not everybody can be trusted. So it's absolutely fine and normal to be extremely cautious about who you allow into your life. And when I left the narcissist, I felt like I was never going to love again, that I was never going to trust again. And I was actually fine with it. I saw what happened when I loved and I trusted someone. And the subject of romantic relationships was now a danger zone, that I was okay about never setting foot in again. For me, it wasn't worth it. And there will be some people after narcissistic abuse that decide that they don't want another romantic relationship ever again. And everybody is completely different. Inside the space of my narcissistic relationship, I had proven what love was. And I was required by the narcissist to really pull out every bit of love and strength that I had within me. Now, I met the narcissist whilst they were in a seriously tough situation, and I thought that they were a victim of circumstance. I saw them as a victim because that was what the narcissist wanted people to see. This is a covert narcissist that pretends to be vulnerable. And the victim they play because they gain a lot of supply this way, and they get people doing things for them. And at the same time, they're able to be really underhand and manipulative, because this vulnerable act fools a lot of people, and of course masks their true predatory nature. They're absolute predators. I don't think that my situation now, when I look back, was unique. I believe that there are many narcissists that thrive in real life crisis times because they're able to get a lot of narcissistic supply, and they feed off of the drama of all the people rallying around them, trying to help them. The victim is often able to be the center of attention. So if they can't get it in a grandiose way, they're going to get the attention in the fake vulnerable way. I stupidly thought, but I'm not going to call myself stupid because it wasn't that. But I thought that the narcissist was in a one-off moment in life, and I had to get them through the storm, out of the storm. And they were asking me to do that. But I actually think now that a narcissist's whole life is a storm. I think that they are the storm, and they take that storm everywhere that they go. And I don't believe for a second that they want to come out of it. I don't believe that they like peace. They don't like calm. It's not possible. Even when there is peace, they're going to create chaos for narcissistic supply. And I'm sure that you already know this. I was required by the narcissist to be the rock in a turbulent time, and I stepped up to the mark because I was convinced that that is what love would do. Now, there was nothing that I wouldn't do. I was devoted. I devoted myself to the narcissist, and I know the narcissist didn't have anybody that showed them that kind of level of love and devotion before. What I just failed to see at the time is that the narcissist was not deserving of this, not even remotely from me. And I'd never been required to love anybody so completely or courageously in all of my life. The more you give, the more they take. And when they know that they are onto a winner, when you're a real giver and you've got a lot of love, they don't value that or you at all. They just look upon you as food to feed the wolf. So what wisdom did I actually learn from this narcissistic abuse? The absolute very first thing, and I believe the most important thing that I realized, comes down to self-value. And I realized that I've got a tremendous amount of love inside of me, and it's a lot of power. And I recognized for the very first time, as no other situation allowed me to see quite so clearly, that my love is a real gift and it isn't to be given freely. And I reflect this for anybody listening, that there are wonderful things that you have within you that need to be guarded like the crown jewels. They aren't to be freely offered to everyone because they are of real value. You've got things in your possession that are inherently yours, that are of true value. And unless someone proves themselves to be worthy of receiving you and all that you have to offer, then they are not deserving of you. And I don't mean that we give people manipulative tests to prove themselves. We don't need them to jump through hoops. We just need to step back and look at what they give and what they share with us, and also how they treat us. In narcissistic relationships, it's clearly one-sided, with you giving and them taking. And what I'd like to say that I learned is, unless you place a price on your own worth, then nobody else is going to value you. If you go into a store and there's an item there for free or for a very small price, you're not going to appreciate the value of it. Even if it is exactly the same quality as something that is being sold for thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions. When we give away things for free, people don't value it. This is human psychology. But the point is, unless we value ourselves in relationships, nobody else is going to do it. We've got to teach people how we expect to be treated. And this isn't to be an idiot. This is just to be very clear. If you treat me with disrespect or unkindness, I won't stick around because I expect more and I deserve more too. Now, after getting my pearls trampled by a swine and having my capacity of love and loyalty completely exploited, one of the biggest lessons that I needed to learn is that love is energy. And when you're truly loving someone, you are giving them your energy. You're sharing your inner essence with them and you're giving them you. But some people, like I said, are not worthy of you. And for the first time in my life, I became very precious and guarded about who I share myself with and who I offer my love to. Before the narcissist, I was not guarded at all. When I liked somebody and when they showed interest, instead of figuring out or learning more about who they are and their intentions, I was just freely giving away all of my gifts to people because I felt grateful that they gave me attention, and I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel inherently worthy. I didn't value myself. But from this abuse and being taken down so low, I now know how precious that love is. And I see it now as a gift that I give to others if I choose, because it is a gift. It is a gift to be loved, and it's a gift to love. But you have to ensure the person that is receiving you is worthy. They have to have the same capacity of love to hold it and to share it as you do. And if they take it for granted, exploit it and abuse it, they're not worthy. There is never a clearer reflection in a mirror to see how we haven't valued ourselves than there is standing in front of a narcissist. Because the narcissist is a clear reflection of someone that never deserved you, and they made you aware of how much they were not deserving of you by all the ways in which they trashed your freely given gifts to them that you gave. The narcissist never earned them. And I know some people will not like the idea that love should be earned. Surely that's not very unconditional, right? But what we fail to realize is that unconditional love has nothing to do with disrespect. And for some reason, we have it in our world consciousness that to be unconditionally loving means to take and put up with a person's crap, just because we know that they had a hard time growing up. You can understand someone and you can love them because of that understanding, but it doesn't mean that you need to or you should endure or tolerate abuse or crap from anybody. Unconditional love actually would be the first to leave because it is the love to value yourself and love yourself more. That's unconditional love. In relationships, it's actually healthy to expect our love to be earned. And to be clear again, I don't mean in any other way other than reciprocation and looking at if a person is willing and able to reciprocate and match what you're able to offer in love, respect, empathy, compassion, kindness. We watch how we're treated by another. When we do not value ourselves, that's when we allow others to treat us very badly. No, we don't deserve it, but in our minds, we think that we do, and so we take it, and that becomes our role. After the narcissist, my whole dating life changed, and my whole life changed, actually. I noticed the huge shift in me. Not only did I now value myself and what I had to give much, much more, but I was no longer excited by sexual attraction, and this was the game changer. I, like many others, got caught in the idea that sex was love, and the importance of sex changed. No longer was it so high up. No longer was I swayed by physical desire, but I was able to see straight through the outer level and penetrate the surface of a person to look beyond. And I was now asking the question that I'd never asked before, that was really alien to me. But I said, what do you have to offer me? It's not selfish at all. It's smart, because I know what I have to offer you. But you see, my programming since the beginning and my lack of self-worth was not to ask that question. That question never appeared in my life ever before. But after narcissistic abuse that almost destroyed me, I was now asking that question, because there was no way I was going to get involved with anybody that didn't treat me with the utmost love and respect, and they had a lot to bring to the table. To a lot of empaths and to those that have grown up to be taught that their needs don't matter, it can feel kind of selfish and uncomfortable to ask, what have you got for me? Because the me part is unfamiliar. That's not the script. The script is the opposite. The script goes, I give to you and you receive. Now the tables turned, and they needed to, and the focus became on myself. Me first, because you will receive. If you're with me, you will receive. But I really need to make sure that you're going to be a worthy and smart investment of my time and energy, because you're investing yourself into any relationship that you have. And like all investors, you should expect a decent return. And you shouldn't expect to invest and have it all devalued and it all wasted. Now, I used to enter relationships with a belief that that was the deal, that I gave and I didn't receive. Why? Because I didn't feel worthy to receive from anybody. And this had been ongoing throughout my entire life. But it took a very close call with a narcissist to finally wake me up. People that we meet are mirrors, and they give us incredible opportunities to see ourselves. And sometimes, as in the case of a narcissist, I got somebody as cruel and as abusive as possible to show me how much I didn't love myself, to show me how much I didn't value myself, to show me my lack of self-esteem. I had to wake up, and sending a narcissist was like having the worst beating of my life, getting my head repeatedly whacked on the ground and screamed at. Are you going to wake up now? Are you going to allow this abuse of yourself? Are you going to allow yourself to be destroyed due to a lack of self-love and value? Or are you going to fight back and say, I'm worth more than this? I think narcissists force us to wake up, because what's the alternative? It's the scary realization that if you don't wake up, your life will end. So it's incredibly strong and powerful, this realization. And they leave you with no choice other than to wake up to all the ways that you don't love yourself. It's brutal. I scared myself how far to the end that I was prepared to take myself. And I remember writing in a notebook in big letters, save me, and underneath, from myself. Save me from myself, because it is me that is standing here and accepting it. And I had multiple friends telling me the whole time, get out, stop it. And of course, ending a narcissistic relationship isn't such an easy thing. You know, for many onlookers, it seems a question of just walking out. But of course, there are so many factors that are involved for why that's really difficult. But the point that I now know is that I got into that situation because I didn't love or value myself enough. And I stayed in it, and I didn't walk out for the same reasons. I became scarily aware of my own self-destruct switch. And it had been on for most of my life. And that manifests in people's lives in many different ways, whether it's narcissistic abuse or substance addictions or all of these, they all boil down to the same core wounds as I see it. We feel unlovable. We don't feel enough. The second important lesson of narcissistic abuse didn't only teach me to value myself and what I'm able to give to others, but it highlighted the fact that I was looking for love and acceptance outside of myself and ultimately getting trashed because that's what I believed I was worth. Now, I didn't believe I was enough. So having someone that built me up so high in the beginning, like the narcissist, and then make me feel so insecure and incredibly inferior, I understood how I placed all of my esteem in another person's control. It's called self-esteem because it's meant to come from the self. It's not meant to be in the hands or control of another person. Because, a lot of people are very selfish. They have their own agendas and they will use your weaknesses against you. You need to be the only person that possesses your self-esteem. Don't let anyone else hold it even for a second. That's yours. Nobody else gets to touch it. It's off bounds. That's the part that you need to guard. It's the inner part of who you are. Only those that are worthy and trustworthy and authentic are allowed entry beyond your external parameters. And like I touched upon before, it's only those that are truly deserving of you that should be given the passcode to enter. If you don't feel enough in your life, then often you're going to get held up a mirror that reflects exactly that to you in other relationships. And when we place external significance on another to make us feel worthy and validated for who we are, and we don't know that for ourselves, then we're on very shaky ground. Narcissists will do a number to try to destroy your connection with yourself and your sense of self-worth. This is how they control you, to break you down and to make you inferior to them. Those that do not have a strong rooting in who they are and their value will naturally have weaker boundaries because they're always allowing and even seeking the approval of another person. And that person then gets to decide their value. I did this all of my life because I was trying to get another person to tell me and show me that I was worthy. I was expecting them to validate me. And when they invalidated me, I understood it. I allowed that to feed into my own internal feeling of unworthiness. And therefore, when another person then makes you feel worthless, this is a match. It's a match for your beliefs. So the mirror is just mirroring the belief that you have about yourself. And I gave away all of the power of who I am and my sense of worth to the hands of a narcissist that readily snatched that up. Thank you very much. Yes, I know that you need me to validate you, and I'm going to use that very well in my control of you. The third and the final thing that I gained from narcissistic abuse is the way that I get attracted to somebody, and what I look for is completely different now. And I'll say that the narcissistic relationship actually matured me and my attractions. Authenticity is now the biggest attractor, and I don't care about sexual attraction nearly as much as I used to. I'm not saying that it's gone, but it isn't driving me or clouding my judgment like it used to. Yes, I still get attracted, but it doesn't make me want to jump into a relationship with somebody head first. Instead, I observe the attraction and I say, very good, you're rather attractive, aren't you? But what else have you got? Who are you? Because attraction isn't enough. When you've rushed in and you've been so badly hurt by a narcissist, the pain that you suffer is a massive game changer. For me, it matured me hugely, and I realized that treasure troves are rarely open on the surface. You need to find them, and you need to dig, and you need to have a key to open them. That's how I've become like a treasure trove myself. I don't have all of my shinies out on display because narcissists are like magpies. They're very attracted to your shinies. But not only this, because when you know your stock and you know that you've got gems, you don't want to give everyone clear sight and easy access. You want someone that's going to invest time and energy in getting to know you so you can reveal them in time. You want them to be discovered in the same way that you know that there's going to be people that may appear quite plain on the surface that have got incredible treasure stores within them that are waiting for you to discover. Those that glitter too much on the surface are rarely gold, and that's such a huge lesson. I'm now attracted to somebody that's authentic, that's able to love, that's got beautiful inner gifts to share. And those people may not be so attractive, like I said, immediately, but I don't rule them out anymore. I want to get to know people much more deeply, and I don't want to rush. I want to find out who somebody is And it takes time. Now, I want to share a little story. I remember meeting this lovely old style gentleman in Italy. He was in his 80s and he looked amazing. He looked about 10 years younger, in great condition, very intelligent, very much a gentleman. And his girlfriend was almost 15 years younger, and their relationship was real love. And we sat at the table one day and he said to me that their relationship was still quite young and they were still learning a lot about each other. And so I asked him, well, how long have you been together? And he said to me, 10 years. My mind was blown, and I'm never, ever going to forget that. But that was maturity. You see, as you mature, your time perception changes. You're not in a rush. In healthy relationships, they're developed at a pace over time. People reveal themselves over time, and there is real beauty in that. And I think that many people like myself at one point mistake love for this chemical high and a dopamine hit. And when you recognize that, when you're attracted to somebody, you're able to work with it and catch yourself the next time that it happens. And before it's led you into another toxic relationship, then it's a big game changer. Now I'm going to use a modern expression, but I noticed that the people that I may have swiped right on completely changed. Although I was able to acknowledge the physical, beauty, attraction that a person held, the physical alone was not enough. I observe more of that person. I make more informed choices. I'm in charge of the attraction. It takes time though, to change your ways. It takes work to get out of the patterns that have not been healthy or beneficial to you. They don't just immediately disappear overnight. You have to work with them. I've still got attractions for toxic, but the difference is I can catch myself before I make a leap. Whereas before, there was no conscious thought. I was just so much within the pattern. And I'm now trained to be able to sniff out fairly quickly whether or not someone is toxic or not. But in order to get to this point, I had to have so much self-awareness as well as be able to exercise self-control and discipline. I may really want the sweetie or the candy, as you say in the States, because I think that it would taste really good in that moment, but I'm able to have the discipline to step back on those urges and contemplate further down the line when that candy has hit my stomach and has turned bitter. Every single point that I've actually mentioned in today's video has prepared me for love. And I've never been ready in my life for a truly reciprocal and beautiful partnership. And it took the almost near destruction of me as a person to finally wake up to who I am and all of the love and inherent worth that I've got. And I know that the narcissist didn't value me because they don't really value anybody. And I know that the narcissist certainly didn't deserve me on any level. And yet I mixed up with them as a reflection of my own lack of self-love and respect. And I was forced to wake up and make a pact to treat myself a whole lot better and never ever hurt myself like that ever again, because I now know my weight in gold. I will never give the power to another person of dictating that for me. If I ever feel myself doing that, I immediately back up and recenter myself in myself. And I now know more than ever the importance of choosing a partner that is an equal match for who you are and how you treat others and what you're able to give. Never throw your pearls to any swine or give yourself away for free to the undeserving and abusive. So I hope that this video has been really helpful today, and let me know what you think by dropping me a comment below, and please do share it with anybody that you think would really benefit from it. Coming up, I have another podcast that you might like, plus a comedy skit, and if you would like to book a coaching with me, then all of the details can be found below in the description box. For now, thanks so much for watching. Sending love, take care, and I'll see you all again next time.